I walked into office this morning and asked colleague if she had seen report I left on desk.
Oh, JD. Did you hear that, listeners? Did you feel that little shudder? That tiny, almost imperceptible wrongness?
See? She felt it. Every single native speaker in that office would have noticed something was off. Not necessarily stopped you, not necessarily corrected you, but they would have felt it. Like a tiny bump in the road.
A little ripple in the English universe. Because that sentence is like a perfectly good house, built without half its mortar. It stands, but it wobbles.
And yet, what was the mistake? Can you even put your finger on it?
Welcome to Mr. and Mrs. Oxford. I'm Hazel.
And I'm JD. And last week, I promised you the invisible glue of English.
You absolutely did promise that. And I stand by it. Because today, we are talking about articles. A, an, and the. And I know, that sounds like the most grammatically dry topic you've ever imagined.
It genuinely does.
But here is the thing. Articles are the number one element that makes a learner sound like a learner, even when everything else is perfect. You can have perfect grammar, perfect vocabulary, perfect pronunciation, and then you say, I went to hospital, instead of I went to the hospital. And suddenly, the whole sentence feels foreign, out of place.
Native speakers don't know why it sounds wrong. They just know it does. It's an instinct.
Which is exactly why this is the invisible glue. You don't notice it when it's there, holding everything together. But you absolutely notice the gaping hole when it's gone.
So today, we're going to fix that. We're going to take you through the three articles, a, and, the, explain when to use each one, when to use none at all, and give you the instincts that native speakers have without ever consciously learning them.
Because that's the wild thing, isn't it, JD? No one ever sat us down and taught us articles. Not once.
Never. We just absorb them, like breathing.
And that's what we want for you by the end of this episode. Not just a list of rules, although we will give you some very useful rules, but a feeling. A native speaker feeling for when a sentence needs the glue.
Right. Let's start with the simplest ones. A and an. These are called indefinite articles, which is just a fancy way of saying one of many, not a specific one.
So if I say I need a pen, I don't mean your pen. I don't mean the pen sitting on my desk. I mean any pen. Just one pen. A pen from the general population of pens in the world.
Which is also why it's always singular. You can't say, I need a pens. You say, I need pens. No article at all for a general plural.
And the a versus an distinction. That one is actually very simple, but people still get confused. It's a before a consonant sound, and an before a vowel sound.
Sound, not letter. This is the bit that trips people up.
Exactly. So it's a university, not an university. Because even though university starts with a U, it's pronounced university. It begins with a Y sound, a consonant sound, so a university.
And it's an hour, not a hour. Because even though hour starts with H, the H is completely silent. It begins with an OW sound, a vowel sound. So, an hour.
This is why your ear is the ultimate judge. It's about how the word sounds when it leaves your mouth, not how it's spelled on the page.
A useful tip, an unusual situation, an MBA. Because MBA, when you say it letter by letter, starts with an EM sound, vowel sound. An MBA.
You want to test yourself right now? Try saying the article out loud before the word and listen to whether it flows or bumps. A apple. That bumps, doesn't it? An apple. That flows smoothly. Your mouth will actually tell you.
Brilliant trick, that. Okay. Now let's talk about the definite article. This one is the one that causes the most trouble, because it has a very specific job. It means we both know which one I'm talking about.
Both parties need to know. That's the key. If we both have shared knowledge about this particular thing, because it's specific or already mentioned, or there's only one in existence, or it's just obvious from the context, that's when you use the.
So there are a few categories here. First, something already introduced. Imagine, I bought a cake. The cake was delicious. First mention, a cake. Second mention, the cake. We now both know exactly which cake I'm talking about. That one. The delicious one.
This is actually one of the most common patterns in English storytelling. The first time you introduce something new into the narrative, it's indefinite, an. After that, it becomes definite, the, because now we both know it. It's part of our shared world.
Second category, something unique. There is only one of it in the relevant context. Think. The sun, the moon, the prime minister, the internet. There's only one. So we both know which one. No confusion.
The kitchen. Even in a house with many rooms, you both know which one is the kitchen. The context makes it unique.
Exactly. Third category, the one implied by the situation. Can you close the window? There might be a million windows in the world, but in this room, right now, there's one window you're both looking at. You're both aware of. The context makes it specific.
And this is where intuition really matters more than strict rules. I'm going to the shops. She's at the gym. He's in the garden. These phrases feel natural because the context is shared. It's a commonplace known to both speakers.
Which brings us to one of the trickiest areas, when not to use the. Because sometimes English uses no article at all, and this surprises a lot of learners. It's called the zero article.
General statements about things in the abstract. No article. Cats are independent, not the cats. Just cats. The whole category of cats. Cats in general.
Life is complicated, not the life. Life as an abstract concept. No article.
Music makes me happy. Love is patient. Time flies. These are all generalizations about the abstract idea of a thing. Zero article. They're big concepts.
Now here's a big one. Places and institutions in their functional role. No article.
Okay, this is genuinely one of the most important things we'll teach today because it confuses almost every learner at every level. Are you ready?
Go for it. Lay it on them.
She went to hospital versus she went to the hospital.
Completely different meaning.
Completely. Utterly. She went to hospital means she was admitted as a patient. She went there for medical care. She is part of the function of the institution.
She went to the hospital means she went to that specific building. Perhaps to visit someone. Maybe to pick someone up. The building has a physical location, but not necessarily for its primary purpose.
Same distinction with school, university, prison, church, bed, work. He's in prison. He's a prisoner. He's serving time. He's in the prison. He's visiting, or maybe he works there as a guard.
She's at university. She's a student. She's studying. She's at the university. She's at the building for some other reason. Maybe giving a lecture or attending an event.
This drives learners absolutely mad, but once you hear the distinction a few times, it starts to click into place. It's all about purpose.
The logic is, if you're using the institution for its intended primary purpose, the article disappears. You're part of the function. The specific building doesn't matter. The role does.
And this is very much a British English thing, by the way. American English often includes the in these situations. She went to the hospital is standard American. Both ways are correct in context. But in British English, the distinction carries a really important layer of meaning.
Right. Let's do a quick round of examples to make this stick. I'll give you a sentence. Hazel gives the verdict.
Let's do it. Fire away.
I need advice.
No article. Advice is uncountable. You can't say an advice or a advice. Just advice. Or some advice, if you want to quantify it a bit.
The advice you gave me was perfect.
Because now we're talking about a very specific piece of advice. The one you gave me. We both know exactly which advice we're referring to.
She has a degree in economics.
A degree, indefinite, one among many possible degrees. And no article before economics. It's a field of study used in a general sense.
He plays the piano.
Interesting one. The piano. And this is a fixed British convention. When you play a musical instrument, you almost always use the. She plays the violin. He plays the guitar. They play the drums. We don't know why this rule exists. It just is.
Whereas in American English, you sometimes hear, she plays piano, with no article. But in British English, always the.
Always. Don't forget the instrument's definite article, or JD will visibly wince. I've seen it.
I genuinely will. It's one of my personal bugbears.
Okay. Now here's the section that we really want to land, because this is the emotional truth of articles. The reason native speakers notice when they're missing or wrong. It's not about grammar rules in the moment. It's about flow. It's about the music of English.
When articles are wrong or missing, the sentence loses its rhythm. English has a natural music to it, a cadence, and articles are a fundamental part of that music. They're the small, vital beats between the big words.
Think of it like this. Imagine a sentence as a piece of music. The nouns and verbs are the melody, the big, important notes you can hum. The articles are the rests, the timing, the subtle spaces between the notes. When those rests are in the wrong place, or missing entirely, the music sounds off. You might not be able to name what's wrong, but you feel it. And that feeling is what we want you to develop.
Which is why the ultimate goal isn't to memorize every single rule. The goal is to read and listen to so much natural English that the right article just starts to feel obvious. It becomes part of your internal rhythm.
And we can speed that up by giving you some things to specifically watch and listen for. Here are 3 common mistakes that will instantly sharpen your ear.
1. Skipping the before superlatives. He's best player on the team. That's missing the. It should be, he's the best player on the team. Superlatives almost always need the fastest, the most interesting, the worst.
2. Using the with proper nouns incorrectly. The London is beautiful. No, just London. Most names of cities, people, and countries don't need the, but some do because it's part of their actual name. The United Kingdom, the Netherlands, the United States. These have the built right in, and rivers, the Thames, the Amazon, the Nile. Mountain ranges, the Alps, the Himalayas. Always the.
3. Missing a when introducing a person's profession. She is doctor. That sounds just wrong. It needs to be. She is a doctor. One doctor among all doctors. You need the a.
When in doubt with professions and roles, AA is usually your friend. He's an engineer. She's an artist. I'm a teacher.
All right. Quick recap before the challenge. 3 articles. A and an. Indefinite. Singular. One of many. The. Definite. Both speakers know exactly which one. And 0 article. For generalizations, abstract concepts, uncountable nouns, and institutions used in their functional role.
And the underlying principle for all of it. Is this shared knowledge? Do we both know exactly which one? If yes, use the. If it's one of many, use a or on. If it's a big general idea, use nothing at all.
Your weekly listener challenge. For the next 7 days, every single time you write a message in English, a text, an email, a comment, before you send it, take a moment, read it back, and check every single noun. Does it have an article? Should it? Try to catch 1 mistake per day. Make it a game.
And if you want to test yourself right now, here's a little puzzle. In the comments below, tell us about the most interesting thing you saw today and a new thing you learned. Pay close attention to your articles.
We will read them, and yes, we will notice the articles.
We always do now. You've ruined us for normal reading, JD.
Completely. If you found this useful, and we truly hope you did, please hit subscribe. It genuinely helps this little podcast reach more people who are working just as hard as you are to get their English to the next level.
And share it with someone who is learning English. A friend, a colleague, a family member. The invisible glue works better when everyone around you is using it correctly.
Now, next week.
Next week, we are tackling something that confuses learners at every single level, from beginners all the way to advanced. It sounds simple. It is not simple. And getting it wrong makes you sound much less confident than you are.
We're talking about word order. Specifically, the hidden, unspoken rules English has about the order of adjectives and information that nobody ever explicitly teaches. But every native speaker follows without thinking.
A lovely, big, old, rectangular green French silver whittling knife. There is a reason that sentence sounds wrong. And next week, you will know exactly why.
That's next week on Mr. and Mrs. Oxford. Until then, read something in English today. Anything. And notice the glue.
See you next week.